Hello everyone, welcome back to Rebel Brick. Today I am working with just kind of showing off two a little bit older ships. One of them is coming from Rogue One, and then the other one, as you can see, is coming from the Phantom Menace. Trying to get the fan off here. Okay, so I've had this for quite a while. This is normally just kind of stored away and all that because unfortunately I don't have as much shelf space as I would love. I really enjoy when I see some of the other people, they show off some of their collection. They have shelves everywhere. Unfortunately, because of the silliness of myself and everything else, you know, I have shelves and I do have some things on shelves, but I have more books and like magic cards and stuff like that on shelves. I do have my Lego City, which you guys have seen before, and I do have some shelves that I've got a couple figures that, you know, unfortunately sit there and collect dust. But you know, the hardest thing is I've got a couple sets of drawers, cheaper plastic drawers or whatever that I had gotten or whatever, kind of to house some of my stuff. So these two actually sit in, I believe, the same drawer. So they're sitting next to each other, looking at it. You know, these have not really seen the light of day in a little bit of time. I was very happy when I was able to pick this one up because this is a very neat ship. My best friend, when we were playing Star Wars, he really liked this ship. So for me to pick it up and then use it as a representation for his ship or whatever, or something similar to it, because oddly enough, if you read into the expanded universe and everything else, this is a one-of-a-kind ship. This is the only one in existence. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that maybe somebody else didn't take that same design and copy it for something else, but story-wise, this is the only one that they had ever built. So, you know, take it for what it is. You know, if you ever do a role-playing game or make your own story, you can do whatever you want. I always enjoy the different ships and different creatures and everything else that we get out of Star Wars to open things up and all that. That is really great for me. So as we open this up, and I'm going to angle this back your way, this hinges down, and as you can see, this had come with, so we have young Anakin, we have Qui-Gon here, and then we have Darth Maul. So I believe this was one of the first times we had gotten Darth Maul in a set, and then this even comes back a little bit, trying to make it a little easier to get in here. You know, whether you have the fat fingers like I do, or, you know, for the kids having small fingers trying to get in there, that works pretty good. The nice thing is this is not the only part that we get to get into. Now it's the only part that we really get figures into, and I'm going to fumble a little bit here because I have not opened up the front in a very long time. I do know the front opens up some, because I do have R2-D2 in there. The nice thing is when they did design this, you know, we can always bring our struts out here, so we could actually have that fly like this. You know, I can close this up. And then bring that down. And that works really nice. The landing gear actually does fold up. So I can bring the landing gear in, and that folds up nicely. And then as we land it, there's the front that opens up. Because this is a fairly big ship. I'll bring our landing gear out. Now this opens all the way up. And looking at the hinges, I knew that this opened up here. Alright, I wasn't certain exactly how far that opened up. And I've got R2 in here, so that means that I kind of shoved them in there. Not the best. So we have one of Darth Maul's little probe droids. Here's a second one. Here's a third one. Let me get on to the other side here. Unfortunately, I've got the boxes I use for our backgrounds for our comic strip, so I'm kind of leaning over those. And if I'm on this side, then I'm kind of leaning over the camera here. Okay, so that all kind of fell out here. And I do have these pieces, so I could put them up on some stands here. so we can see these. And this is one of the reasons why I had bought these stands. It's because I can kind of use them like this. Or, and we'll get back to using our factory. And in our factory, I don't know if you noticed, I use some of these for a window for our break room. So this sits in there. So that's Darth Maul's speeder. So that's in there, and then I'm gonna have to try and fish R2 out of there because that didn't work. So let me fish him out here for a second. And I was not thinking very well when I put him in here like this. In order to get him out, I'm kind of tearing this apart just a little bit just to get him out of here. So I'll have to remember that, not to put him in there like that again. All right. Okay, now that's back to normal. Okay, so we do have a little spot right here, and that's where I put R2, and I put him in like this, and then he kind of fell in a little bit, and I had an extra Darth Maul crown, so I put it on top of that R2. Just to try and help me remember it's for that set. And usually with sets like this, I'll try to keep them physically together. But we can get Darth Maul into his speeder. And in some regards, this almost looks like it might be a little bit more comfortable speeder. You know, because you have a nice high back to it and everything else. But we can get him into a speeder and all that. Little different design than some of the other ones that we see. But still, it's a very nice design. I think it works very well. Or I could even keep Darth Maul in here. And then I can close all this up. And I can close that down. So, and there we have them. Usually when I'm trying to get this down, this does not go down right away. And I'll kind of show this. His speeder actually comes down into this point. So if you notice before, and if I push up here, that lifts that up. When I first put them in here, usually this doesn't want to go down all the way with everything in there. Usually it's kind of sitting on top of there, but then it homes everything in there. And it works pretty good. But story-wise, I do believe that this actually has... I think that this is supposed to really hold those, and I never thought about it until just now. And I think there's a spot on the inside there. And nope, that doesn't work that way. So I guess I'm wrong, as I'm tearing the lightsaber apart. But I can get Darth Maul in here. I can put the lightsabers in here for nothing else. I'll leave those out. Maybe I should put those in here, or I do have a little bit of room, so I can maybe just kind of stuff them in on the side. One here, and I can put the one here. Just trying to figure out how I can redo this so I can get everyone packed in here without putting R2 in there. So this sits nice, as I kind of fussed with that a little bit. And as I open this up, bring that down. Maybe I can get Anakin in here, because he becomes a wonderful pilot. And then I can get Qui-Gon right behind him. And unfortunately, I don't think R2-D2 really works very well there. So what I might do is maybe I can get R2 here. I can get Qui-Gon on the side here. Ish. I'm trying to see how well I can get them all in here. Unfortunately, R2-D2 doesn't want to let that go, and then these pieces are just kind of stopping him. There we go. There we are. There, that looks pretty decent, and then I can drop that down. Not in the best way, but you know, someone's going to have to be kind of on the side. But I can still get them all in here, and that works out pretty good. That way you don't have R2-D2 stuck in there. That's not a very big area. If I open this up, and if I take these pieces off, you know, we are 4 wide here, so I can get some stuff in here, but I have to take these off every time. You know, opens it up for something, but yeah, I don't know. We'll leave it like this for now. But very nicely done. I don't know if they're ever going to redo this or not. If they ever do in the future, I might be inclined to pick up another one. It is a very nice idea. If I do remember correctly, I want to say that this is at least 2, if not 3 layer or levels, and then this is definitely 1 level throughout all this. But of course, you know, when we shrink it down into Lego, you know, trying to keep it small enough so that way it's not too expensive for parents to buy it for their kids, and also trying to keep it so that way, you know, it's playable for the kids. Now, if you look here, we do have some launchers, and you know, you hear it all the time from me. I'm not a big fan of the shooters, but we do have the launchers right there, so you can shoot those out there. Trying to remember how old this is, because unfortunately I'm getting old. But you know, this is from quite a few years ago, but it's a wonderful set to have and bring out from time to time. And because I've done a lot of role-playing games and all that, and I think my role-playing games are a lot better when I'm doing it with a group than me doing it by myself, because I usually play off of everybody else. And if you remember this is from Rogue One. So let's see, this has actually got some mechanics in here before I drop it. Let's see, yep, and then there. So you can actually have the wings up higher, or you can drop the wings down low. I did remember that. I looked this over just a little bit when I brought this out. So we do have a little bit of storage in here. So you can store a couple things in the back. That we have some binoculars in here. We have a radio. We have his blaster right here. And then in the cockpit, which is our traditional opening for a cockpit, so that does open up all the way. You know, some of these, this one's not it. There are a couple of these with some of these older sets where that cockpit actually slides out and then you can slide it back in. But it's our standard TIE fighter pilot. Once I can get him out of here. Come on there, guy. Okay. And this is the newer style helmet, so when we lift up the head, we have a regular face in there. So that was kind of nice. Print on the front and on the back here, so that's pretty nice. And if we can look inside on the interior, you know, we have some nice tans in there, maybe some Nerf hide leather or something in there, I don't know. And of course plenty of Technic in the middle, and that works out really nice. Something tells me I think I might have like 2 more of these, but I only have the one put together because obviously I don't have the whole city. I keep hoping I'll have. In the future I will get a city going, a bigger city, and I want to have a nice landing area. And I always envisioned trying to throw in a whole bunch of Star Wars and all the other stuff out there. So time will tell, but that's kind of a futuristic vision. You know, obviously, as you can tell, all the things I've done, I've kind of worked on Legos for quite a while. Actually trying to put it up on YouTube and all that. This is all within this year. So this is all from 2023, trying to put it all up and all that. And you know, this is out of love of building stuff and everything else, and just the silliness and just trying to bring a smile to everybody's face and that's the important thing. Hoping that maybe I can reach out to more people and I can, you know, just bring a smile to somebody else's face. Like I said, that's the important thing. There's enough seriousness and craziness in the world. Let's have some silly craziness and have some fun. We do that, then I think we're doing a lot of good things. All right, But with that being said, I think we've spent enough time on these. This does not have a lot of extra features because this is a lot just trying to get these long wings. And this is a very slick design. I actually like this design. There's no landing gear on the bottom. It's just really that middle part is just trying to do all the technique to get this to lift up or drop down. And it does have the shooters in the front. So, and as a true TIE, it only has the 2 ion engines in the back, which is really what these two represent here. And the fact that this is meant more for atmospheric flight, which is why the wings are set up the way it is. It does work out in space just as well as any other TIE, but it is meant more for an atmospheric. Me personally, I know the TIE fighters are very iconic, and you can't really beat that. George Lucas and I want to throw out Ralph McQuarrie, which I believe is the original artist that drew up a lot of the initial designs for the fighters and all that stuff. They really hit it out of the park trying to design the iconic images for the X-Wings and the TIEs and all that stuff. The Y-Wings and the like. They really came up with some really nice ideas, and to see different takes on all this stuff is really wonderful. And the progression and degression for like the prequels to say, hey, let's do something that kind of resembles a TIE fighter but would be a little bit different, so that way we could have a progressionary fighter that goes into the TIE fighter. That's really wonderful. You know, I can go on for a long time because, you know, this is something that, you know, it's the Star Trek and Star Wars and all that, and Star Wars especially. Star Wars is just the adventureness, and having the, you know, just Luke with his lightsaber. I mean, you can't beat that sense of adventure out of that. And of course, and I've said it before, especially with yesterday's video, Star Trek was there, and I remember watching the reruns and that, so that was always there for me as well. And that's just, you know, adventuring, going to different planets and seeing different civilizations and all that stuff. It's got more science to it. It's still a fantasy. It's a science fantasy. This is heavier on the fantasy than what Star Trek is, but still two really good franchises, and I love both of them. And I enjoy sometimes listening to some of the debates where people are really more on one side and more on the other. And George Lucas and even Gene Roddenberry had both said that they fed off of each other. So they enjoyed each other's stuff, the things that they had created, and that kind of helped them in their own creation of what they did. So it's really, if you like one, I think you should really like both. Although I really understand where people don't really care for the old Star Trek, because it's a lot more sciencey and it's not as much action and stuff like that. But that was a whole different TV time and everything else, and I get it. But there again, I've met people that don't watch Star Wars either, and hey, I get that too. Everybody's got their thing. So with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and keep working.